Hello and welcome to the history of professional wrestling in Ireland. Here we look at different aspects of Irish wrestling from the past and how they have impacted where we are now. In this episode we look at a move that seems to have changed quite a lot over time to the stage where it really seems unrecognisable from where it first started out as. In this episode we will look at the Irish Whip. I don't think there's another move out there that you see and just have to accept that you will need to suspend your disbelief in order to just accept it in the same way that you would with the Irish Whip. Sure, there are moves from the top rope or even some of the gimmick matches that are around now that may require you to stretch your imagination, but not in the same way as you would with the Irish Whip. For instance, the Irish Whip will require you to just accept that one wrestler is going to make their opponent just run to the ropes and back by simply grabbing and pulling their arm. It takes a lot for you to accept. But what if I told you that this move is completely different to where the move originally had started out from? You see, the Irish Whip was actually the signature move of the Irish Whip, Dano O'Mahony, and while he is another episode for another day, his signature move, for which he is named after, was actually used in order to get the win. It wasn't used to put his opponents into a position so that he could just do a different move. The Irish Whip in itself was the move. This move was actually a championship winning move. This move consisted of one opponent grabbing the other wrestler by the arm and performing what could only really be described as a mixture between an arm drag and a judo throw. A quote from this newspaper goes on to describe the Irish Whip. Every so often, wrestling undergoes a change. Gotch and Hackenschmidt, then along came Lewis and his headlock, then Stetcher and the body scissors, and finally Sonnenberg and his flying tackle. Now we have Dano and his Irish Whip, which is the gosh darndest, almightiest do-dingle seen in wrestling yet. Why someone has not thought of it before is simple. It takes a man of Herculean strength to throw an opponent around as though he was a hammer used to track meats. Over time, this move has changed and evolved into what we have now, with the only real similarity between the two being the fact that you will grab your opponent by the arm. So in conclusion, the Irish Whip has had many iterations, from wrestling school in Baldoyle all the way to being a podcast and obviously then as a way to run your opponent against the ropes. And while that may be where the Irish Whip is now, it started off as a move that could win championships, similarly to the way that the People's Elbow or the Stone Cold Stunner will be used. So there you have it, the Irish Whip and how it has changed over time. So if you liked the video, please feel free to let me know, and until next time, slán.